Welcome back, everybody. So I've been talking about starting back on my storm shelter build, and if you're new to the channel, we picked up a lot of subscribers since the last time I started building this, but I'm building a wooden storm shelter. And I know that sounds crazy, but the way I'm designing and building this is based off some plans that I found online that's been tested in a hurricane facility, and it's rated for impacts and winds much higher than anything we will ever see in the state of Florida. I'll include a link down in the description if you want to go look at the build plans of this. I'm modifying it slightly using 2x6s instead of 2x8s. It's just going to take more of them to build, but it's going to be the same exact type of process. So this is all salvage lumber out of our last 30 by 60 pole barn that got blew down in the tornado that hit us this March. So I'm kind of reusing this, and some irony here, reuse my storm damaged shelter to build a storm shelter. So it's kind of funny, I guess, when you think about it that way. So this episode, all I'm going to do is just trim up a bunch of boards. I may put a few together. This may go over a couple of days. Otherwise, this will get monotonous and boring. So I've got to make a bunch of these laminated timbers before I can ever get out there and start on the shelter, which will probably be, I don't know, another week or so. Then we'll really get into the building. So it's started. I'm back at it, and I'll show you what we got going on. But first, I need to cut up a bunch of these lumbers to the same length. So I'm back after taking a couple day break away from this project. We were making some fishing videos for the other YouTube channel, but I at least wanted to wrap this video up and show a lot of the new subscribers what I'm doing here, because a lot of y'all haven't seen what I've got going on. And I'll go ahead and let you know that it's probably going to be another week or two break before we'll get back to working on this, because I've still got to build a lot of timbers. And that takes quite a while. I just fit it in on days that I have a couple hours here, a couple hours there. And I'm not gonna record that every time because that'll just get boring to you. So I kind of made me a little jig here. I got a little 1.5 inch high blocks because that's how high the lip has to be. I'll show you that in a minute. So it allows me to easily lay these boards out. I can then take my center board, put it in between them on that little 1.5 inch blocks that I made. It gives me the proper lift and spacing. And then the plans and design calls for putting everything together with liquid nails. So I bought one that's compatible for wood, which I think most of their stuff is. And I'll run me a nice thick bead down both sides. And what I'm doing is laminating timbers. So I'm taking 3, tying them together, laminating them, which makes them extremely strong. All right, now that I got me a good bead of liquid nails on both sides, just flip them up. Get them flush on the ends, and then I'll sandwich them together. All right, now that I got them sandwiched together, just take your nailer, frame a nailer, start popping them together. Now some of y'all may be looking at this wood and going, man, it looks weathered. Well, that's because it is weathered wood. This was in our last pole barn for 4 years. And then whenever that got blown down, I've stored this wood for a while down there underneath the tarp. So that's why it's got a little bit of discoloration to it. But I've been meticulously going through it and make sure everything's nice and solid. And I found a few bad pieces that were busted up or got a little bit of water damage. And I've chunked them to the side. But even though the color's changed a little on this, it's still very solid wood and will work excellent for what we're gonna try to do here. All right, now we've got one finished timber, so I'm gonna show you how these are gonna go together. All right, so now as you can see, we've got these 1.5 inch high lips all the way around. So imagine if I put a 2x6 base plate down of pressure treat wood. That's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna anchor that into the concrete with like some Tapcon screws. Then I'm gonna set these on top of that 2x8, tie them in. This isn't called for in the plans, but I want a good pressure treat, you know, subfloor, just in case any water were to ever get in there on the concrete. Then I'll start laying them out just like this. So imagine I've got a first full wall down. So this next one's gonna come in and slide in over here, but go all the way to the end of this one, just like this. All right, so I don't want to beat this all the way down on top of the next one because I'll probably never get them apart, but you can see they have, one of them has a U, one of them has this top raised piece. So this one will interlock down on the next one and making it very, very strong. And that's after you run another bead of liquid nails all through here and then sandwich these together. I'll beat this down with a sledgehammer on that one, and then it's kind of a repeat. So then you'll lay another timber in here and they'll just kind of Lincoln log, just like a log cabin. They'll interlock every so often here at the corners. And then I'll wind up tying the corners in. Let me show you these screws I bought. All right, so now you get the picture. So I would tap this one down again after liquid nailing, and you can see they'll caddy corner, they'll stagger. Then I'll lay another one all the way to here, and then the next one up here I'll lay all the way to here. So again, the corners interlock. Then I bought these really high dollar, heavy duty, long, 8-inch long lag screws. These should drive in very well with that impact driver I got. But as you can see, they'll drive all the way through this timber into the next one, and I'll do 2 per timber. So everything is liquid nailed together, screwed together, and then here's the real good part. Once all these walls are all the way up, I'll come in on the outside of the entire walls with 4x8 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood, nail them into these timbers, locking them together even more. Then I'll bring the same 3/4 inch ply on the inside and go all the way up the walls, nail it in for a 6-inch thick solid wood wall. That should stop just about anything that any storm could ever throw at it, minus a truck. And we don't get EF5 tornadoes here in Florida, so I shouldn't have to worry about flying truck. But as far as trees, debris, everything else, I don't think this will ever have a problem withstanding that. And then some people ask, how am I going to anchor this to the slab since I didn't run bolts up from the slab? So they make Simpson, let me get it right, strong tie straps. They're about this long. They'll go in on the inside of the wall, and they've got a pile of holes in them to where you'll nail them or screw them into the wall. Then at the bottom of that strap, it's got a hole to where I'll lag bolt it down to the concrete with 5/8 inch concrete, expanding lag bolts. And I'll do that all on the inside to really tie the structure down to that 8-inch thick slab that I poured out there. Something else I'm gonna do on my own is I'm gonna come put earth augers in on all 4 corners of the building. That's what kept our camper from blowing over in the last tornado, so I really trust those things. They go in the ground about 4 feet. They're basically a mobile home anchor. I'll drive them down in the corner and I wind up bolting them all the way through this 6-inch thick wall. So that way, should we ever get unbelievably high winds that could flip a several thousand-pound slab plus several thousand pounds of structure on top of it, those anchors are 4 foot in the earth, keeping it from tipping. Again, I just don't think we get strong enough tornadoes or hurricanes in this state that can make winds that bad. Now, if you'll look at the plans on this that I'll have down in the description, this is rated for up to 250 mile-an-hour winds. And one of the videos I watched on YouTube where they tested in a hurricane testing facility, they were shooting like 12-foot long 2x4s over 100 miles an hour at this, and they were just disintegrating when they hit it. And it's supposed to, you know, represent, you know, major flying debris and a major storm. And it didn't even put a dent in it, no problem at all. So this will give us just enough room for a little futon in here. I'm gonna still reinforce it further. We'll talk about that later. I'm gonna put a little window unit in to make a steel door that I can close it up. So if we got really, really bad storms, I wouldn't have to be worried about the window unit getting ripped out. We'd still have a steel door protective plate that goes down over that. So I got a few cool ideas in mind that we'll get into as we get this structure built, and then I'll start adding a little modifications to it. All right, y'all, so that's gonna be the end of the video there. I'm gonna get back to work making a bunch of these timbers. Like I said, that's gonna take me a while. I have to cut hundreds and hundreds of pieces of boards, laminate them all together. I still gotta go pick up more liquid nails and regular nails, all kinds of stuff. And I'm doing this project in between doing stuff for the other channel. Now we're about to have to start moving into the new camper. I just explained that in another video. So that's gonna take me a couple days there. I gotta build a bed frame. I've got to put a window unit in that. I got lots of little things I got to do there, and I may include some of that on the channel. So I'll be back and forth on this storm shelter build, but it's still going on in the background. There's no point in me recording another video until we're actually at the slab and starting to put it all together. So this is my last timber video I'll make, but I wanted to do one more because we picked up so many subscribers recently, and thank y'all for that. I want to let y'all know what this project is, why we're doing it, what it looks like, and what's coming on the channel. So thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you for the support. We're going to keep knocking projects out around here, and I'll keep bringing y'all along for the journey. Thank you.